Hello, I'm Cheryl Good, inspirational speaker, and next to me is
Susie Beiler
of the Creation Temple.
of the Creation Temple. Excuse me while I try to share this video
Yes.
onto my, it's already like disappeared what I had set up, so you know how technology is. Alright, let's see, here we go. Oh, it doesn't say share.
So things disappear.
Okay, so we'll deal with that later. Okay.
All right. Because we're in the now.
Always worth a shot. We're in the now.
So my page is Cheryl Good, inspirational speaker, and today I am going to have the privilege of interviewing a woman that inspires me.
Ooh, oh, I like that. Thank you. I'm happy to be an inspiration.
It's important. It's
Yeah.
important to share that because the words that come from one person can really spark something in another person.
Yes. Yes.
And today is about spark. So, the Creation Temple.
Yeah.
First of all, I love the naming of it,
Right?
right? Because there's different ways to think about temples. It could be in a religious sense. That maybe is more of a historical way of thinking about it. Or there were the goddess temples. So, comes around, goes around again. Susie, is the Creation Temple, which is your creation, is it a physical space?
Well, yes and no.
Oh,
So I'll explain what it is. So yes, I chose the word temple because to me that signifies something very sacred, something holy. And when you are creating, to me that's a very sacred act. Because specifically I create from my soul and I help other people create from their soul alignments. And so when you're creating from your soul, it is a very sacred expression. So it is a physical space in the sense that you are a creation temple, you are a temple of creation. My vessel, my vehicle is a temple for my creations of my soul. But really what it is an online membership website. And through that website, I help people create from their soul alignments.
so there is the physical temple that is our body.
Yes.
And there's acknowledging that.
Yes.
And the idea that wherever we're at, we have this temple
Correct.
and we have the ability to create.
Yes.
So tell me more about your online site and what happens there and
Yeah.
why would someone want to join?
Well, there are several levels of membership. One is the free level of membership, and as a free member, you join because you want to get the Prime Creator channeling videos a month before they're released on YouTube. And you also join the free level of membership because there are several free meditations. There's a page designated for free members for free meditations. When you join the next level up, the Sacred Creator, you get all of the meditations on the site, all of the activations, all of the spiritual teachings, all of the paid channeling videos. I channel the Blue Dragons, and none of that is released for free for the public. That's all paid content. So you get a lot of content to help you on your spiritual path. Because if you're on your spiritual path and you don't have guidance, you're just sort of like out there trying to figure out, how do I navigate this? But if you're interested in creating from your soul, like I teach, then the content in the Creation Temple helps you to navigate your path.
So there's got to be a story behind this, Susie, because this is your path, this is your life, and it's not accidental. So because everybody loves a good story, please share some of your story, how you got to the place that you have an online site, and I believe you see clients as well in person and have workshops. There is backstory to that, so please share.
Well, my whole life since my spiritual awakening over 14 years ago has been me working with this idea of creation and learning the nuances of the creation process. So my life has been an experiment in one sense, but also a very grounded, practical, like, this is how you create from your soul. This is what's required. And so I've been through, I mean, I can't even tell you, Cheryl, everything I've been through in order to arrive at this understanding. But it's been a lot of trial, a lot of, what do they call it, tribulation?
I think errors in there too.
A lot of cosmic comedy, perhaps. But no, seriously, really doing my inner work in a very grounded, practical way while being very connected spiritually. So bridging that heaven and earth. The whole thing about the creation temple is restoring heaven on earth, and I've been a living, walking example of that, where I'm connected to very high frequencies, very like out there woo-woo things, you might say, and also living a very grounded, practical life, you know, taking responsibility for my life and for paying my rent and, you know, doing the things we all have to do. So the idea of merging those two, heaven frequencies with the earth practical, that is who I am and what I do. And coming to that way of being in the world has been a lot of inner work, tragedy, you know, sacrifice. I don't live a normal life. It's amazing in one sense, but it's very challenging in another, because I'm very sensitive, so I can sense and feel the nuances of everything, very intuitive, you know these things.
I'm really appreciating the groundedness.
Thank you.
And the challenges of really living on multiple dimensions.
Yes. Thank you for seeing me and acknowledging that, because that is part of how I teach people to live. We are multifaceted beings, and we have to learn how to navigate all of these realms while being fully human, while being fully grounded in our humanness. And that is where a lot of spiritual teachings fall short. They don't teach people how to live in a grounded way. And a lot of, you know, spiritual teachers, gurus, whatever you want to call them, they're not conveying how important this is, that we embrace our humanness. Because this is our power. Our power isn't out here in all these other aspects. Like, that is powerful, but when we integrate all of our other multifaceted beingness into our humanness, into our human aspect, that's where the power comes in. And if we want to express ourselves as powerful creators, then we need to integrate all those parts of ourselves. And it's a lot.
It is a lot. It truly is a lot, and there are pulls each way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's almost a seductive quality to both.
Yes.
Ooh,
I like how you said that. Yeah.
And to totally go into the human experience, which is important.
Yes.
It is important.
Yeah.
I don't believe either one of us is advocating to just leave your body and fly around.
No.
And
what good are we? What good is our mission if we're out here all the time? And I see that a lot in the spiritual world, where people just want to be, you know, it's better, it's more fun to be in those higher dimensions. Why wouldn't we want to go on?
Then your rent is due.
Right? Exactly.
And then
and it's like, oh.
And then it's almost like, well, then it gets set up, well, why didn't that work? You know, what's wrong with me? I've been spending all my time out there in the spiritual realms, and I'm invoking
I'm doing the law of attraction.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And it almost becomes shaming in a way. They could start to shame yourself if these things aren't happening.
Yeah.
And that's something that I see in my practice is this, well, why didn't it work? Yeah. And what's wrong with me? And so the seductive part is, yes, it does feel good, because we are wired to have so many kinds of experiences. We can have beautiful experiences through the body. We can have beautiful experiences being out there in multi-dimensional spaces, yet the integration, that to me is really, that's the rubber meets the road.
Yeah. Yeah, and where the rubber meets the road in the Creation Temple really is at the higher levels of membership, the Supreme Creator and the Master Creators, because those are the people that meet with me every week. Live, via video. We can see each other, we're a family, we're connecting, we're supporting each other. They get to ask their pressing questions, get the support, we share what we're creating, they get the support for what they're creating. This is really where the rubber meets the road in the Creation Temple, because there's consistent interaction, there's consistent help and guidance. And I wanted to provide that because I've had a mentor myself for over 14 years. The same person for over 14 years. He knows me inside and out. And it is like, I am so blessed. I cannot ever express my gratitude to him enough, because how deeply he has helped me over the years. I know if I have an issue, I have a place I can go if I can't figure out how to work it out within myself. And that's what I want to provide for other people. If you have something going on that you need support with, I'm here. And you get that consistent interaction week after week. And some of the members have been with me for over 2.5 years. So it's really
what are some of the people who have been with you for 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Tell me some of the things that they're experiencing.
Yeah, the things we all want. more prosperity, better health, weight loss, more fulfillment in their lives. 2 of them have quit their jobs so that they're following their heart and their passion instead of, being tied to the 9-to-5 grind. So they're creating freedom in their lives.
So the word freedom.
Yeah.
Really, in my experience, my own and working with my clients, is that's ultimately what everybody wants.
That's what we all want, right?
We want to feel good and free in our hearts, in our minds, in our spirit. Yeah. And it's the lack of feeling that. Yeah. And then the stories that are created, the stories that are not helpful. And it sounds like you there as a consistent observer and guide are there to minimize the detours.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, look, we all need to discover some things for ourselves. So I'm not there to be this is what you have to do. I'm here to connect people with their path and their soul and guide them from that perspective. So I'm not the guru saying this is what you have to do, but I am there to bounce things off of and to tune in to their soul and their energy. Is this right for you? Are you on the right track? Now we have one of the members starting to lead meditations in her home, and I'm encouraging her to also lead them online, but it's not my place to say what her soul wants to do, but there are things that I can see for her that would be beneficial for her path. So it's kind of like that. I have some ideas about what would be really great for your path. Does this resonate with you? Do you need support in getting that going? Do you need a cheerleader? I'm here to support in any way that I can.
And in addition, it also seems like mentioning what you perceive as blind spots.
Right.
Because
we all have them.
Everybody has blind spots, and you just can't see what you can't see.
Yeah.
And when there's somebody who has some distance and has your best interests
Absolutely.
At the forefront, for someone to be able to see those and then speak them in a way that is supportive, and not shaming.
Yeah,
that's exceptional. So you're really deeply in service.
Yeah, we go deep. I can go deep with other people because of the depths that I've gone to within myself. Sometimes, not to be braggy, but sometimes I say about myself, I'm the strongest person I know. And I say that because I know all the things that I've come through and all the things that I've transmuted in my life. And it's been a lot.
And I heard someone speak, and they had quite a dramatic story of overcoming many, many obstacles, and continues to.
Yeah.
And what I appreciated about the speaker was that she said, I'm telling you my story only as a teaching tool.
Right.
So do as a teaching tool.
You want me to tell my story?
I do. I think that's really important for people to hear that. Again, you're not doing it to say poor me or not in a braggy way, but it's that human part of us that can relate.
Yeah. So there is a story that I want to tell, and I just want to tune in to make sure that it's okay to tell it, because it involves people that are very dear to me in my life. My chest is constricting a little bit. Okay.
And I also, you're demonstrating the kind of guidance that you offer to other people, which is, and something that I do too, which is around consent, is that you're really taking a moment to tune into yourself and find out, are you a yes to this, or is this a no?
It's okay for me, it's a yes for me, but it's a no from them. But I'm the one experiencing from my perspective, and certainly if they're watching this video, they can weigh in and share it from their perspective. So I recently faced my biggest fear, which is being killed for my message, being killed for who I am, because in other lifetimes that's happened over and over and over. And the place that's happened from, or the people who have killed me, is the church. And so I recently spoke with my parents about my soul mission, and they represent the church. Now, to preface this, my parents are beautiful, loving people. They would never harm anybody. They would never kill anybody. This is from the perspective of my cellular trauma, experiencing this. So I'm sharing it from that lens. It's really important to understand that this is the lens from which I'm sharing. So my cellular trauma came out in this conversation with them. They agreed to have a conversation with me about sharing my soul mission. And it was the scariest thing I've ever done. Because, again, my cellular trauma was saying, oh, they're going to kill me now, they're going to kill me now. Wait, we're still having this conversation. I'm still alive. They haven't killed me yet. Okay. But wait, they're probably going to kill me soon. And then even after the conversation, I was spending another week with them after the conversation. Every time I would walk out of the room the bedroom I was staying in, and into the main house, my cellular trauma was like, is it going to happen now? Are they going to kill me now? Is this when it happens? And so there was that raw, vulnerable anxiety and fear that was coming up from the cellular trauma. And the beautiful thing about all of it was that we love each other. So they were loving me, I was loving them, all while feeling this deep anxiety, cellular trauma. It was very, very powerful to face my fear. And a lot of the members in the Creation Temple are facing their fears. And we're all there holding hands together while we travel this journey. Because that's what's needed. We need community to travel this journey together. Right? Like Cheryl's in my community. I'm so blessed to have you in my community. It's a support system, it's a friendship, it's a mutual honoring and respect of each other. That's what I've created in the Creation Temple. We have 4 agreements that we abide by. Like, we don't judge each other, we hold space for each other, and we hold confidentiality, and there are a few more. But it's set up so that everyone can be successful, so that everyone can move forward in their journey.
And thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you on many levels, because I really appreciated how you took that moment and you felt your body.
Yeah.
And you didn't try to leave your body, and you didn't try to override what you were feeling.
Yeah, I'm pretty practiced with that. Yeah.
And
thank you.
And as practiced as you are, you get to put it into practice.
Yeah.
It's
I still
not,
felt the constriction in my chest.
right,
Yeah.
right. And that's important. I think there could be this perception that, well, you get to some point in your life and you don't have those experiences, and yet that's the human part of us.
Exactly.
And that's actually also part of our wisdom.
That's the most powerful part of us, I believe. Because there's a lot of energy in that chest constriction, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of energy when we feel something in our body closing up or opening up.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge energy potential. So if I can harness
Right.
that, like, oh, I feel my chest constricting. Oh, there's a lot of potential energy there.
Mm-hmm. So that is such a vital teaching,
Yeah.
and such a way to reframe,
Yeah.
because some of those sensations do not feel good.
Yeah. So can we do something right now with
Absolutely.
with our people? Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, I'll just invite you to tune into your body, and if you want to close your eyes, that's cool. I invite you to tune into your body and think about something that scares you, or a place where you feel stuck in your life, and just tune into the physicality of your body and how your body responds to that thought or feeling of the fear or the being stuck. And is there a spot in your body where you feel that? Is there a place that feels constricted in your body, or is there a place that's cold or tingly? And just breathe deeply through your belly as you feel your body. And then I'll just invite you to bring your breath from your belly into that place in your body. And allow your breath to open up that space. So if you're feeling a fear and anxiety, if you're feeling stuck somewhere, bring your breath into that place in your body where you feel it. And allow the breath to gently open. And your breath is your inspiration. It's actually nourishment. You're bringing in oxygen to nourish your physical body, your emotional body, your spiritual body. So keep breathing through your belly. And then allowing that breath to expand into the place that was once constricted or cold or hot or whatever you felt. And then allow yourself to drop deeper into your body, feeling your own energy just gently sink down deeper into your body so that you're feeling more grounded, you're feeling more centered, you're feeling more present in this moment. And thank your body for giving you signals, for giving you clues about what's going on for you at a deeper level. Your body is the vehicle messenger. It's always giving you messages about what's happening on deeper levels and other places within your being. So thank you, body. And I'm really curious, those of you who went through that process with us, if you would want to put a comment to let us know how that was for you.
Well, I just went through the process.
Yeah, how was that for you?
It reminds me that simple is so powerful.
Yeah.
Like that, simply tuning into breath and taking that moment, and then not trying to override anything, and simply be there moment by moment.
Just be with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And even though it's a Facebook Live and I'm a little amped up because I'm excited to do it, I also did feel that shift.
Beautiful.
In the few moments that we had.
Yeah.
And started to feel myself go into a different brainwave state.
Nice. So you can imagine, that was what, like not even 5 minutes?
Not even.
You can imagine when we're doing a 10-minute meditation, a 20-minute meditation, 45-minute channeling, like how you can access different aspects of yourself, different brain wave states, as you said it. Yeah.
So we live in Sedona. We happen to be neighbors. And there are many people who call themselves channelers.
Yeah.
And I've always been curious about that. That's not something that's particularly been in my experience of the kind of sessions that I do. I find it fascinating, and I also find it, I get a little suspect.
Good,
so,
you should.
So talk about that.
Channeling.
Yeah, talk about your channeling.
Well, the main energy that I channel is Prime Creator. And Prime Creator describes itself as the highest frequencies of love and light. It doesn't describe itself as a being or an entity, but a lot of people do reference Prime Creator as he or she. That's just how our mind works.
Right.
We want to have it like be form. We want to put it in
some or relatable in some way.
Yeah. It's really it's not really relatable because it's an energy that I'm translating. So literally someone will ask a question, I will feel an energy response, and I will find words to translate what I'm feeling and sensing. This is where it comes in handy that I'm a super ultra sensitive being. There are other places where it doesn't come in handy. This is a place where it comes in handy. And usually with every question, an energy does come back in response. There have been a few times where that hasn't happened, but mostly there is a response. And the experience from my point of view of channeling Prime Creator is just love. No judgment. It's been one of the sweetest experiences of my life because I have in the past struggled with judgment. I have been very judgmental, and I've worked on that a lot. But this ability to experience pure love and no judgment is so sweet and so amazing. So when I'm with my Creation Temple people or when I'm with a client one-on-one, they ask a question, I can feel just the absolute love for that person. And no judgment. And my mind might have some judgment, but the energy that comes through is no judgment. It's amazing. It's really, as I've integrated more and more the Prime Creator energy within myself, it's allowed me to see things from a higher perspective, and it's allowed me to drop a lot of the judgments that I've had.
I love that it's so practical. I mean, that as you're helping other people come to choice points in their life and receive some information about those choice points, it's also having an impact on your life. Absolutely. So it's not that you're always somehow only the physical voice. It's like you're also you're having a relationship.
There is an integration that has happened and that continues to happen. Every time I bring the Prime Creator energy through, there is an energetic integration for me, and then that translates into how do I live my life differently, better, more with more involvement.
We can make up words.
We can make up
That's
words.
That's very creative.
This is about the creation temple.
It's a creation moment now. So
So it really has been. It's been very humbling. I feel very blessed to have this ability, and it's also challenging too because the frequency of Prime Creator energy is so high that when I was first starting to do it and I wasn't paying attention, I started to become ungrounded. And that's when I learned the importance of staying grounded and being practical while connected to these higher frequencies.
As I'm listening to you talk about this, and I'm going to guess this is very helpful because that word channeler, and my perception at time is that there's some ego involved from the person who is doing the channeling, and somehow I know something that you don't know, and so I've always been wary of that.
Well, that's weird if they're coming with that energy. Sorry, that's my judgment. I mean,
I and that could be simply part of that person's evolution is is then what kind of feedback is happening from that. Because I believe if it's substantial and it has value, that will last. Anything that's kind of propped up on anything less than a foundation of, and I'm going to say it, pure love. Because that is the frequency that I've consistently been able to identify as something that I want to pay attention to. So if it doesn't feel like that, I don't care what the message is. If there's not that sense of love coming through in some way, then that's my indicator that that's not particularly the direction that I'd want to go.
Interesting.
Yeah. That love and what you're speaking about, as that love comes through.
Yeah.
And to be able to recognize it as the channeler, because that, again, so many things are happening on so many levels.
Well, when we ask who or what is Prime Creator, that was the answer. I'm the highest frequencies of love and light. Okay. Thanks for choosing me.
Well, let's talk about that. Thanks for choosing you. I want to know, does it always feel like that?
Yeah, so, yes, and when someone asks a question, like about the Illuminati or the Cabal, for example, and the energy that comes back to answer that, in order for me to, I have to like complete a circuit. I have to connect with the person asking the question and the energy of the question, and then the energy that comes back in response. So when someone asks about those darker, shadowy things, that does not feel good. But then, if needed, I'll have a moment where Prime Creator clears me. Like it's happened in several sessions where people will ask about some shadowy things, and then Prime Creator will say, okay, give me a moment to clear this channel. Because I will feel the energy of the question asked. And that's the only time it doesn't feel good.
Right, which is part of that sensitivity. And also, it's part of discernment.
Yes.
And what I'm hearing you say, as I learn more and more about your work, is that you have really developed that discernment.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that is something I have worked on a lot in the past 5 years. Yeah, really honing in.
And it's interesting to note that, like, my work in sacred sexuality, helping people move through shame and guilt and fear around this tremendously powerful source of creation.
Yeah.
You know, literally, it could create another human being.
Yeah.
So that to me seems like an energy to pay attention to, and yet there's so much misinformation. So nobody put out a job description that said, "Hey, you know, learn about your own sexual energy and learn about how you can support people in finding their connection to their heart and to their genitals." So nobody put that job description out for you, and I have to say that I really admire that.
Thank you.
I admire it in myself, that this was nothing that was ever laid out in a way. It was not.
Well, we're creators. We can create our own job descriptions, right? I mean, look, as I said in the very beginning, I tune into my soul. Everything I do in my life is led by my soul. So when my soul started speaking to me about creating this membership website, well, what do we call it? Blah, blah, blah. You know, the whole process, it was all about creation. We are powerful creators. And it's time that we really step up and own that. Because what's happening on the planet right now, I don't even have to tell you. You can see. You can see. You can feel the chaos that people are feeling. You can feel the scrambling energy that people are going through. People are hurting. People are confused. The energies are amplifying. They don't know what to do with that. You can see what's happening.
Right. It's accelerating and amplifying.
Yes.
And it can be a very confusing time to be in a human body.
Yes. And within each of us, in that, we all have the ability to connect with our soul essence. We have the ability to drop in, to get quiet, to make that connection. And I do help facilitate that connection because I do understand in the chaos it is hard to get quiet. I get that. And that's why I'm here to help with that. But this is also a call and an invitation for you to rise up, to stake your claim as a creator here on this planet. Because we're all working together. That's the idea anyway. We're all working together to restore heaven on earth. And if we're not consciously setting that as our intention and that as our goal, what are we doing here? Just saying. I mean, if you're listening to this, you're probably part of my soul mission, part of Cheryl's soul mission. You know, we have a collaborative soul mission to restore heaven on earth. And we can do that in our own ways. It doesn't have to look exactly like my version. But we do need to do that. We do need to step up.
And no one has to do this alone.
That's exactly right.
Because it's, first of all, it's impossible and it's way overwhelming.
Yeah.
And that overwhelm can lead into feeling depressed, feeling shut down, like,
yep,
there's nothing I can do. And yet what you do and I do every day is take those moments.
Yeah.
Take those moments, whatever your meditation looks like. I really don't know how at this point in time anyone is getting through anything without some sort of practice. Just something that you're not bombarded moment by moment by a lot of really unimportant information.
Yeah.
And you're advocating for some important information.
Unless you have the ability just to be centered all the time, you know,
then
you can teach me. But
gosh, yes, then I'll do a Facebook Live with you because that I think that's one of the other things that gets set up for people that's impossible, and then you feel like you're less than. My experience is it's not that you never get uncentered, it's like how quickly, what's your refractory period? Because stuff happens. Yeah. And stuff happens, and it's not to become, to never have an emotion. It's that to have something in place. Because the emotion's energy in motion.
Yeah, we want the emotion.
The emotions are part of this human experience.
You have to have something in place,
right,
to get yourself back to your essence.
Right, because if we didn't have a body, we wouldn't know what chocolate tastes like. That's important to me. Those sensations. Yeah. So, to me, it's not that there's an emotional reaction, and maybe some of those emotions don't feel good. It's how quickly can those emotions be moved through.
That's exactly it. I'm a huge advocate, as you know, of feeling what we feel, but not getting stuck in it. Feeling what we feel, letting it move through, and getting on with our lives, getting on with our mission.
Yeah. And really getting on with things that feel good. Yeah. Overcoming these ideas that have been dragged. Talk about cellular memory and cellular trauma. Yeah. How much simply feeling good, feeling free in the body, how much that has been shut down.
For sure.
The simple act of taking a full breath and making a sound and moving the body, and that has been so maligned. Like that somehow that's not part of the human experience. And if you want to control people, start telling them stuff like that.
Right? Yeah. Well, now we're getting into the agendas.
Of which there are many agendas.
Yeah.
And to have a way, and the Creation Temple sounds like one of those ways.
It is one of those ways.
Where there can be a step back, and then having a way to gain information that is coming from a source of love.
Yeah.
Like a source of love, not a source of damning,
we're
shaming.
We're not here to tell you what to do or how to be.
Right. And everybody, I've been working with my maternal line and finding it a very rich place to add whatever clearing that I can be, is that everybody has that, and that stepping outside and having some perspective on that is a way to start to clear some of that cellular trauma. And I am a mother, so I have sons who are in their late 20s now, I can say. And I know that any time that I can start to find one of my blind spots and do some work around that offers them in a way that I don't even need to know what the mechanism is, because I don't know if anybody really knows, but I know in some way that if that's offering them some sort of opportunity, that there's some sort of freedom that comes. And parent, being a parent or not being a parent, it's that each person who takes that time, who joins something like the Creation Temple, who finds a practice that is separate from all, and I'm realizing that we're using social media as a way to say, have some moments away from social media.
That's part of it. There's a balance, right? You know, we're given these tools so that we can share what we know, we can share our message, and then, we go out into nature for part of the day also. There's a balance with all of it.
And that balance, I think that's something that we can create too.
Dynamic balance.
Oh,
it's
I
like you were saying, we never get completely centered. There's always something happening, but there is a dynamic balance where we're always, at least for me, I'm always, I don't want to say seeking, but I'm always moving closer to my essence or away from my essence, depending on, what's happening. But for me, the goal is always to get more connected with my soul essence. That feels like balance to me. Because if I'm taking on your energy, then there's not room for me. Right?
And you're important. Your energy as important as my energy or anybody else's.
Yeah. So it's always, for me, it always comes back to reconnecting with your soul essence, cultivating that connection with your soul energy and essence, because that's the place where you get clarity, that's where you make good decisions, that's where you're most grounded and centered, that's where you're the healthiest, that's where your brain works the best, because when you rewire yourself to be in alignment with your soul energy, your brain works better, your nervous system's more on point. It all, for me, all revolves around being connected with my soul essence. And when I feel the disconnect, it doesn't feel good. I don't like it.
That is such a beautiful way to think about that, or to feel about it. Am I moving closer to my soul essence, or do I feel like I'm moving farther away?
Yeah.
Something that I do also is counsel couples, and in relationship, that's the ultimate laboratory.
Yeah, right.
And one of the questions I will ask a couple is, are your words and actions that are about to come out of your mouth, are they going to move you closer to your partner, or are they going to move you away from your partner?
This is my partner, my soul.
Right. And so, very practical, and to look at all relationships that way. Are my thoughts and my words and my actions, are they bringing me closer? And since our ultimate longest term relationship is with ourselves,
that's right. Yeah.
And cultivating that relationship cultivates every other relationship. And something that I find is, and I say this, as much spiritual work, as much as you do, if you can't find ways to like and love yourself,
what good was that spiritual work?
What? If it's moving you farther away from finding ways to like and love yourself, and I realize it is a process. Yeah. And you can just start with like. You don't have to go full on love.
Well, sometimes I love myself more than I like myself. Just saying.
So as long as there's some like or love in there, that love that you feel as you are moving with the energies that you move with, Prime Creator, that is something that it is a way to have some discernment. And that discernment is important.
It's huge in this time, especially because we live in Sedona, we're exposed to a lot of spiritual teachers, spiritual people, and that discernment is very important because not all of them are of the best alignments or of, you know, the agendas that have your best interests at heart. So we really do have to develop discernment. And, you know, whenever I channel, it always comes with, take what resonates, leave the rest. Use your discernment with this message, because I'm imperfect as a human in my ability to translate. You know, sometimes I can't find the words that describe the energy I'm feeling. Sometimes it's a topic I know nothing about, and so I'm trying to find correct words to describe. So it's not a perfect process. It's
not infallible, which is important to say.
Yeah.
Because that is, again, part of our human experience.
Yeah. I might have a human filter that translates the energy in such a way that makes it make sense for me, but not for you. So it's not a perfect thing. And
I think it never will be. And I think that is
as
part
long
of...
as I'm human.
until we go wherever we go. that disclaimer is important. And would be another way to filter out anybody yous out there that you would choose to work with. Is that sense of, wow, this is important. It's important to have those types of thoughts brought out, because we all want connection. And it's important to realize that we all want connection.
and with whom do we want to connect?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Like I always say, you know, we talk about, everyone wants this utopian idea of unity and oneness and fifth dimensional, you know, all this stuff. And I always say, well, first we need to get this dimension cleared up. First we need to take responsibility as humans for what we're creating and what we're putting out there, and heal our trauma, because quite frankly, I don't want to be one with your trauma. Like, I'm already overwhelmed feeling the energy of the collective and all their trauma, you know? I don't need to move into this fifth dimension with your trauma and be one with it.
That's an excellent
It's
boundary.
nothing personal.
I love
share plan. I don't want your trauma.
And I love that, because something in working with clients is that finding those boundaries.
Yeah.
And that,
because you don't want to take on your client's sexual trauma.
yeah,
we have enough of our own trauma to work through. You know, you don't want to take on that.
So that's always part of me that evolves, and I'm going to guess for you too, is that there's always more ways to feel like I have a little more information about how I operate.
Yeah. Being a spiritual guide for other people has me stay in integrity. It teaches me about myself. It shows me where my limits and boundaries are. It shows me where my trauma is. It's my greatest teacher. And
it has to be, because in session I feel like I am the highest version of myself.
Right.
And that it is because I am coming from a state of such love. Yeah. And that whatever I'm working through, that doesn't belong in a session space.
That's right.
That's not about the client.
Yeah, and I will say, and I've shared this with my master creators in the Creation Temple, that, you know, doing this every week for over 2.5 years, I have been impressed with my ability to show up. Because in those 2.5 years, there have been some very significant challenges that have showed up in my life. And for me to continue to show up regardless of what's going on, to show up as someone who's holding space.
I've been there, sister.
Yeah, that's been massive.
And I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah, because it shows us who we are.
I can't wallow in something for too long.
That's right.
Because I have to show up for somebody else.
That's right.
And show up from a space of
empowerment, love.
Right. I'm not pulling in whatever it is into that session space. And that, to me, is really what makes it sacred. Yeah. It's not words or incense or I love all those things. I do. And yet it is the showing up for someone else, which really means I'm showing up for myself.
That's right.
In a way that feels really good to me.
That's right. Yeah.
So, how does someone find you, Susie Beiler?
Well, they can go to creationtemple.com. That's probably the fastest way, creationtemple.com.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very least, I encourage you to sign up for a free membership, because that does give you access to some very beautiful experiences within the Creation Temple. And if you sign up, there's also a form on the website where you can join the 14 days of prayer, and that's with the violet flame, and that will help you learn to be a transmuter in your life. That will help you learn to clear out your aura and, clean out the stress in your body and in your life. It's a very powerful 14 days where you'll get an email every day from me with 7 prayers total.
That sounds very supportive.
7 prayers total. I can do that. I need to take a drink of water. It's that time.
Yeah.
So I would definitely encourage you at the very least to do that, because you will get a lot of support just through that prayer journey, and that's free. Yeah.
And if you want to find me beyond this Facebook page, CherylGood.live. Yay! So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Cheryl.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Until the next time.
You don't have to move the trailer today.